A superpower is the ambition, and the currency needs to internationalize a little bit more. If I look at the yuan, we seem to have stopped the rot for now in terms of the trajectory towards 7. But there's a lovely piece. 14 days in a row, the PBOC has introduced a fixing which is higher than what the market had anticipated. And this diver says is intervention as necessary. How would you describe the interventions on the yuan thus far?
Well, I think it's clear that we reached a point where the Chinese authorities were beginning to feel quite uncomfortable with the pace of yuan depreciation. And so they've done what they needed to do to kind of manage that situation. I mean, we've had a long-standing bearish outlook on the renminbi. We had 685 for our target for this year, and we have 720 up to 730, even 740 for next year. And I don't think it's going to be a straight line higher, but clearly the path of travel over the long run, at least in our view, is lower.
So that's the path of travel. I've got a sound bite. We played it earlier on in the programme, Elsa, because, of course, a lot depends on what we see from Trump and from the Chinese on the trade conversation. I've got a sound bite to play which just underlines expectations for doing a deal on trade. This is what President Trump said yesterday.
China is one, they want to talk, and it's just not right time to talk right now, to be honest with China. It's been it's too one-sided for too many years, for too many decades, and so it's not the right time to talk. But eventually, I'm sure that we'll be able to work out a deal with China.
President Trump then really weighing in on expectations in the market if you were trying to link the dots, but as we said earlier, between Mexico and potentially Canada and then China. So what is your expectation for a time horizon here? It's not the right time now, President Trump says. What do we know about when the right time will be? We don't know, do we?
Exactly, and I think, as we mentioned earlier, if anything, it's probably going to get worse in the short run. So we have that Section 301 investigation ongoing. We had the hearings, which actually wrapped up yesterday, and now there's a period for written rebuttals, which ends on September 5th. After that, it's very likely that we're going to see the president start implementing some of that $200 billion of tariffs. So if anything, it's only going to get worse.
Also, the great debate is, of course, the piece of data. We're going to get it on Friday. It's another piece in the chessboard of growth in China. UBS say the growth move could fade down to 6.4% by the end of the year. We've done our analytics. It's like a big ship. It's still going to take a bit of time to shift course. Are you concerned? You talk about that bearish perspective slightly on the yuan. Just how bearish are you? These are the growth indicators. BI have run some of the data. How bearish on growth are you on China?
Well, we're clearly seeing some kind of slowdown driven by the attempts to deleverage the economy, or at least stop the aggressive leveraging up. So if anything, it's almost like a banana-shaped outlook for the path of growth. You know, we're kind of beginning to flatten out a little bit. And if anything, it's going to kind of reach a bit more of a sustainable level. But I think the problem for the renminbi is also on the flip side of it. You have a decent amount of dollar strength. And that's really what's been driving dollar China high, and I think will continue to do so in the next year.